Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Your Keys to Mastery for September 26th to September 28th, 2022. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Arlene Grace, and I am a spiritual coach, an alchemist, numerologist, and conscious channel. So, as I was tuning into the energy, it really felt as though what was happening around us feels like it doesn't match. And so we may be feeling a lot of tension. But the tension is really a feeling of things have changed and I might be wanting to hold on. Now, we also moved into Libra over the weekend, and Libra, I love one because I'm a Libra, but Libra is ruled by Venus. And so we're really looking at our relationships. There's still the slowing down of Mercury retrograde. And so during Mercury retrograde, we really want to take our time, be present in the moment, and take an opportunity to cross the T's, dot the I's per se. During Mercury retrograde, we also experience this phenomena, which many people speak to, where exes come back into our life, which I think is really funny. And the exes that come back into your life may be in physical form, but it may also be in memory, in story, in thought. Right? It can be a text, it can be a phone call, it can be bumping into them. And it is an opportunity to reassess. So Venus is all about love, right? It's all about how we express love with others, how we express in our own relationships. And Libra is really an opportunity to redefine your relationship, one, to yourself, to your body, to your emotions, to your mind, to your spirituality, and then to those outside of you, to others, right? Whether that is in a lover or in your family, with your children, with your business, with your clients. And so let's bring in the energy of last week. Last week, we were moving through this energy of I am of high value. And in navigating this I am of high value, if you're really paying attention and coming into awareness of where you might have been betraying yourself, where you might have been manipulating another, where you may have been trying to control your experience, which really and truly is an illusion. You can't control others, nor can you control what's happening outside of you. You can only control you, right? That you may have been noticing that there have been shifts in your own relationships. You may be inspired to shift the dynamics in relationship or to feel the aversion to those who you used to be close to. And so today we now come into the energy of the 5 and Jack of Hearts. And the Jack of Hearts is, one, it's Christ consciousness. 2, it is an initiation into higher love for yourself, a higher definition of what love is. For me, love is a frequency. It's an energy that is always available. In fact, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath and to really just come into the body. If it's comfortable, to place a hand over your heart. Noticing that when you place a hand over your heart, you're actually directing the energy down back into the body, into the heart, coming into proximity with your own body, coming into center. And from this place, I invite you to ask the question, what does love feel like in my body? And to notice what that feels like. And for some, I could feel some tension in the heart. Some, I feel like the heart doesn't want to open. And so we're going to invite the heart to open and to allow love to flow. Some of you may be coughing as there's just clearing that's happening in this moment. And it feels like there's this unlocking in the heart. For some of you, I can feel there's this closed in the heart, in the back. And the closing in the back is this not allowing for yourself to receive love. We receive energetically first in the back of our heart, everything. And so we're just going to invite the back of the heart to open. And I can feel for some of you, there's this shifting that's happening in the back of the scapula, the left scapula, where it's, if I was higher value, if I was good enough, if I was a good girl, good boy, good man, good woman, good partner, good in my business, if I had listened, if I had behaved, all of this stuff is starting to shift out. And we're just going to invite love to continue to flow into all parts of the body, as fast or as slow as it wants to go. As it moves through the lungs, I can feel for some of you, there's grief that's wanting to be expressed. And so we allow that to lift and go. There's a heaviness. I could feel that for some of you, there might have been some great changes in your relationships, great changes in your family dynamics. There may have been a death. This may also represent your own rebirth, your rebirth of self, a renewal. In the abdomen, I can feel there's this tightness, this holding on, this fear of being powerful, fear of being in your own power. There's been this holding back. If I express myself, if I express my true power, I will lose people. So we're just allowing that to open. And so I'm going to invite you to just breathe into that space. Again, what does love feel like flowing through my body? And allowing love to move down through the abdomen, the lower back, down towards the hips, in and around the hips. Excuse me if you hear me burping. That's just me expressing some of the energy that's releasing. Moving down to the root. And there's intense fear that's being held in the root. And so we're just going to release the fear. You feel that there's been some trauma that's been held there. And so we're going to allow that to just release. Whatever's ready to go can just simply go. We don't need to know why. As we allow the love to continue to flow down the legs, in and around the thighs. For some of you, I can feel it almost looks like handprints on the thighs where just this holding on. And so we're going to invite that to lift. Shame, lifting up. As it moves down towards the knees, in and around the knees. Inviting in flexibility. For some of you, I can feel some anxiousness, interesting anxiousness in the knees, anxiousness of moving forward, anxiousness of trusting myself, anxiousness of what will others say, what will others think. And so we're inviting in love into those spaces and allowing love to continue to flow down through the calves, over the shins. For some of you, I can feel still in the knees, there's been some trauma or injury to the kneecaps. So we're just going to invite love there into that space. Beautiful. Inviting love to continue down towards the ankles, to the tops of the feet, bottoms of the feet, at the toes. And again, here from the heart up, we're going to allow love to continue to move up through the upper chest, opening up. In and around the rib cage. You can feel some stubbornness in the back of the heart and some, it feels like having a bit of a tantrum. I don't want love. I can see someone with their arms crossed, like, I don't want love. I don't need love. I am woman. Hear me roar. I can do this by myself. And so I'm going to invite you to realize that in closing yourself off in the back, you're closing yourself off to wealth, to well-being, to pleasure, to sensuality, to whatever energies it is that you desire. And so we're going to invite that opening and the allowing knowing that it's energy first and that you can always say no to the physical experience. Allowing love to rise up to the shoulders, and we're going to allow love to flow down the arms. I can feel holding on in the biceps, like trying to hold on to people, trying to keep them the same, trying to keep them from walking away. We're just going to allow love to release the tension in the biceps. I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in. Allowing love to continue in and around the elbows, making its way down the forearms. You can feel some tension in the forearms, in the holding on, the muscles there, the forearm. I'm going to invite you to just relax the hands, turning them over on your lap, indicating that you are receiving, open to receiving. And allowing love to continue to flow down towards the wrists, tops of the hands, out the palms, to the fingertips. Allowing love to continue to move up the throat, up behind the back of the scalp, the base of the head where it connects, moving along the jaw. You may notice as love is continuing to flow up through the top of the head, towards the top of the head, that the muscles of the jaw might relax. Allowing love to move up towards the nasal passages. And facial muscles. Allowing the tension to rise up and to release in whatever way, shape, or form is easiest. Allowing love to move in through the ears and around the ears as it continues to move up, in and around the nose, up towards the eyes, eye sockets, in and around the eyeballs as it makes its way around the temples, into the brain. What does love feel like flowing through my body? And allowing love to continue to move up towards the top of the head and out the crown. And excuse me. Noticing that love is also flowing in through the top of the crown and allowing love to flow through the top of the crown, all the way through the head, all the way down towards the bottom of the feet. And so I'm going to invite you to just feel that as it continues to move, as the energy continues to shift and transmute, feeling the love flowing through your body. And allowing love to transmute whatever energy as it moves through the body to be carried down all the way down to the bottom of the feet, to be transmuted down into the center of the earth, to be transmuted into a new energy. And so for some of you, I may be moving fast with this energy, but it wasn't my intention to do a clearing during this time. And so allow the energy just to move at your pace as I continue to speak through to the energy. So we've moved into the energy of the 5 and Jack of Hearts. And so we moved from really paying attention to high value into higher love, right? The Jack of Hearts is inviting in higher love. It's inviting in the energy of Christ consciousness. And on the lower perception of that, we may be discovering and coming into awareness all of the places where we might have sacrificed ourselves, where we might sacrifice ourselves in relationship, where we might sacrifice ourselves with lover, with our children, where others have sacrificed for us. Your key here is to really notice the places where you might have come into transactional relationships and noticing those things, right? And so for some of us, some of the easiest examples would be those places where where your mom might have come up to you and said, well, I worked hard so that I could put you through to university. And so now I want you to take care of me, and you should be taking care of me in my older age. Or noticing places where you may have taken on the idea or the belief that you sacrificed, and this is for women who have had children, where you sacrificed your body. I sacrificed my body and not my well-being, but my body and my shape and my breasts in order to have children. And so I sacrificed this part of me in order to have you. I sacrificed part of my earlier marriage in order to put my husband up into corporate and ensure that I took care of him and I nurtured him so that he could have a high-paying job. All of these places where you might have brought in or might have this energy of sacrifice. And this really is the human condition. We've been raised to or conditioned to sacrifice. And this isn't to place blame on your caretakers or on religion or on your teacher, etc. This is to realize that everyone has been moving through this same story, this same cycle, and this cycle is shifting. This cycle has been shifting for the last couple of years, and it really feels as though it's coming to. We're really feeling the tension of it, the tension of you must sacrifice your well-being in order for the others, in order for humanity to be well. You must sacrifice your body or this or that in order to succeed. And so in this energy, it is called Christ consciousness, because Christ, and whether or not you're Catholic, Christ, was the epitome of this story, where Christ was put on a cross and sacrificed his life for humanity. And this is a story that's been told. But what if that story was embellished? What if that story wasn't necessarily true? One of the things that has been expressed, that Jesus has expressed through either the Bible or whatever, I don't pay attention, is that, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And so he asked God to forgive humanity. But it's because they didn't realize that Jesus was there expressing to the world that, yes, the body dies, but our spirit does not. Our spirit lives on, that we are, in fact, without death. That our bodies do, yes, they do fall into entropy, and yes, they do die, right, and fall into entropy after we do. But our spirit lives on. Our spirit continues to forever move forward. And in the story, he died on the cross. Many of those believe that he sacrificed himself in order to show the world. But really and truly, he moved through an experience to show the world that we are reborn, right? And 3 days later, his body had disappeared and he had been showing up in different places in full form. And so the idea that we must sacrifice for another is really the question and the key here. Are you sacrificing you? Are you sacrificing an aspect of you? Are you being true to who you are? Or are you going outside of yourself? The 5 is really pulling you and is really in your face saying, hey, are you going outside of yourself for love? Are you going outside of yourself for validation? Are you going and blaming others because you don't have what you want? When really and truly you made these choices, whether it was consciousness or through conscious choice or unconscious choice, right? Or are you in this place where you're still putting out and blaming others for the things that you don't have? Are you willing to just decide to have it now? Oh, I can't have, a bigger home because my husband is not giving me the money that I need or making the money that I need. And so he's busy, sleeping in, or he's doing this or he's doing that. And we need a bigger space. We need another vehicle. We need more. And so I need him to change in order for me to get what I need. Well, here you are, and you're creating this energy of friction, you're creating resistance, and you're falling into this pattern of needing someone else in order to have what you desire. Now, there is co-creation, but your piece is to let go of the resistance. Your piece is letting go of the idea that you actually need that person in order to have what you want, and that you are sacrificing what it is that you truly want. So if you were to come down to it, is this person meeting the relationship that you truly desire? Is he meeting the partnership that you truly desire? Is he a match, especially if you've been moving through this value exercise over the last little while? Now, when we come into this place of, I love me so deeply, there's this invitation to have that mirrored back to you. And so as you're coming into awareness today, there's this falling away that's happening. And so in the falling away of some of the relationships that might be just ending or coming into completion, a part of us are seeing the entropy or feeling the entropy, feeling the falling away, and unconsciously we're trying to grab on hold of it. We're trying to not let them go. We're trying to stay on board with the old story, because we feel the uncertainty of what is possible here. And so the key today is the willingness to go in the direction of what it is that you want, to go in the direction of possibility, and to play with the idea of, okay, I spent all of this time last week playing with higher value. Well, am I starting to see that mirrored back to me? And if that means relationships are falling away, can I be okay with that? Because now I'm creating space for deeper relationships that mirror back my value. So what is it that I want to experience in these new relationships? Am I willing to move in that direction? And then we move to tomorrow. So tomorrow, Tuesday, being September 27th, now we're in the acceptance. So if we moved through this place of Monday being a place of an awareness, I'm now aware of these relationships might be falling away, or what I really want to experience in my relationship. Now there's this place of, okay, what is it that I truly want to experience in my relationship? What is it that I want to have mirrored back to me? What do I want to have in my life? And so we're thinking not just in a relationship, we're also thinking about a relationship to our body. We're thinking about a relationship to our physical home, right? If we bring in Libra into this, Libra loves luxury. They love beauty. They love pretty things. They love harmony. They also love justice. And they are the scales, right? And so sometimes in these places, they are very indecisive. But I feel like the indecision that's coming in right now is because we're so focused on what we see outside of ourselves rather than what it is that we feel, when really the 5 is asking you to feel, does this match? If this doesn't match, then am I willing to go on the journey of what does match this frequency of high value and higher love? Am I willing to call that in? Am I willing to play with this energy of power? Now, when we were doing the scan, there were some of you that were afraid of power, of being in your own power. Now, redefining what power means for you, power is an energy. It's this essence. It's love and value and wealth moving through your body. And so it's not an inspired action to have power over, that's control. Of having someone overpower you, again, that's control. That's them trying to control you. And so in this acceptance, it's noticing the places where people are trying to control you. Because if people are trying to control you, and if you notice that, it's because you somewhere in your life are trying to control another experience or another person. And so noticing that as your feedback, and noticing where you might be holding yourself back from having bigger and more. In this increasing of your value, having high value, the invitation is to play with more, right? And it doesn't mean having a bigger house or a better car, or it's asking you to invite in more of the frequency with the willingness to have more, an experience of bigger. And so if that does mean a bigger house, then please go ahead, play with that. Or I wish to travel more. I wish to travel more. And not only am I going to travel more because I value my life experience, I'm going to travel first class. I'm going to travel business class. I'm going to travel in places where it's easy and simple for me to go. And if that means high class, I'm going to do it. Right. And so it's this invitation to go big, knowing that there isn't too big. Right. And if big means changing a dynamic in your relationship, expressing yourself and having that conversation, then that is going to be inspired. And it's by feeling your body and having that inspired talk. Right. Because your key here is to really take yourself higher. Your key here is to take yourself higher in both your mental mind, in your emotions, in your spirituality, however it is that you define it, and in your physical body. And noticing those places, right? Because we are whole. And as a whole being, we're paying attention to all aspects. You are a spiritual being, whether you know it or not. You are a spiritual being. You have an energy that flows through you in spirit, inspired, right? This energy that is flowing through you is you that animates this body, this form. The emotions in the mind, they play off all together to create this being that is you. And so there's this invitation to bring all of that higher. Okay. So now we move into Wednesday. And so Wednesday is about action. It's about the expression of you. And so here we are, and we are moving into, we moved into 7, 9 of hearts. Huh. So this energy is to really, to trust and to lead. And so as you're moving through this journey here, where you're moving into this journey of, I have this higher value, I'm now bringing into my focal point higher love and higher love for me. As I move through this journey, I'm noticing that there might be shifts in my life, in my physical experience, in how I'm relating with others. And again, it's this, as things are falling away, today it's trust the falling away. Trust that if things are falling away, that they are meant to fall away, and that if they do come back, then they will, if they're meant to come back. But in this place of, I'm allowing myself to trust myself and to trust what's happening in my relationships being everything, all aspects of your life, that I am willing to let that fall away so that I can receive the blessings. 9 of hearts is a blessing, right? 9 of hearts is the blessings of all of the things, that in order for us to have what it is that we desire, we must create the space. And so for those of you who have coached with me, we're talking about vacuum here. This is that space of the vacuum, where in this place of vacuum, in this place of being in grace and the energy of grace and presence, that you can allow for the transmutation to happen at a cellular level within your own body. And as this is happening, it's staying focused on having this higher love. This entire week, we're moving through this energy of frustration, this energy of impracticality. And so your invitation here is to play with, well, does it actually have to be practical? I don't have to know the how. The how will be inspired. And so allowing things to fall away to create space for what it is that you desire, what it is that is your intention at this time, which I'm going to imagine is higher love. Higher love for your clients, for your business, for your home, for your family, for your kids, for yourself first. That you'll allow things to fall away. And it feels like, today, the willingness to say no becomes truly important. The willingness to say no to others where you may feel like you are sacrificing something, or the willingness to say no where others' expectations are coming to rise. And so the expression here is, when I say no to others, I'm saying yes to me. And in the no to others, it doesn't have to have an excuse. An excuse or a story or a reason. I can simply say no, and they're going to have to be okay with that. They can come back and they can ask for an explanation, and I can decide whether or not I'm going to share that. But no is no. And so there's this energy of standing up for yourself, not to stand over, but to stand up for yourself and to really trust your intuition. Today, your thinking is really going to be in this: I trust what it is that I want. I trust that the direction that I'm moving is in place of higher value for myself, to have that experience with others. And I'm willing to trust my own intuition to guide me in this. Right. And in this place, it's this: your blessing is this beautiful energy of creating a new story so that you can actually have the fulfillment of this new story. I'm willing to let go of the past. I'm willing to let go of the past and create on this new canvas. The past can no longer hold me because I decide I'm done with it. And so it's this beautiful energy of coming into mastery of your mind. That's your key today. If I were the authority of my life, if I am the authority of my life, and I realize that I am the creator of my experience, then where are my thoughts? How are my emotions? And what is it that I truly want to experience in life? If I truly am limitless and my life is full of possibilities, am I allowing my lens to be filtered by the past? Am I allowing my fears to hold me? Am I allowing myself to be in comparison so that I don't act? And so it's an opportunity to notice your judgments, your comparisons, the places where you think you have to have the next certificate or the next thing in order for you to have the life that you want. You want to scratch that and imagine that you have it all now and be willing to have it anyway. And so that's your key today: the willingness to have it, to imagine that you have it all here now. And to be the authority of your life is allowing yourself to decide, to make choices, to say no, to decide what it is that you want for your life. Because part of this human condition is not only this place where we must sacrifice ourselves, it's this: in this sacrificing of ourselves, we allow others to make decisions for us. And so imagine this huge web of, I'm allowing others to make decisions for me. So now I'm under this energy of sacrifice, and I'm allowing others to make decisions for me so that I can continue to play in the cycle of shame and blame and abuse, self-abuse and betrayal. And so imagine that this week we're just releasing this, a layer of this from our own consciousness, from our body, from ourselves. And it begins with the practice that we played with in the beginning, which is allowing the love to come in. That is the basis of self-love and self-care. It's the foundation of it. And so it's going to be an interesting week, right? You may be feeling the tension, but the tension is allowing for you to feel the tension so that you can decide, what do I want, right? Imagine that many of us need this tension in order to move forward in our life. And so many of us in the consciousness, in the collective, are feeling this tension and these waves of what feels like anger and frustration and pissed offness and sadness. There's a lot of energies that are flowing around because there's a lot of things that are happening in the world. And so as you start to feel these waves of anger or frustration or whatever, allow the waves to move through, right? We are all energy. We are all connected. And so we don't need to pick up the emotion that we feel that's moving through and create a story with it or a connection with it. that we can allow the anger to flow through and just be aware, hey, I'm noticing there's this anger. But as you notice what's happening around you, there's really nothing to be angry at. Many of us, when we're not aware, will pick up something like we'll see our child making a mess. And so we'll connect the, oh, I'm feeling angry because I'm seeing that my child is making a mess with all of the toys. And so now I'm going to project. Right? We're being asked to become more responsible with our emotions. And being responsible with our own emotions means noticing where we are projecting that out onto others unconsciously. Beautiful. That's all I have. Questions, comments, please feel free to share and I will be happy to respond. Please let me know if this resonates for you. If you are curious and want to dive into your own numbers, I will post a link down below for a clarity call. And yeah, wishing you all a happy Monday and I will talk to you soon. So much love. Bye for now.